Hey y'all, my name is Rebecca. Welcome to my channel. And I have been doing fall crafting. I love fall. Fall is my favorite season. I love the colors, I love the weather, and I love the events. Everything about it to me is fun. Thanksgiving is actually my favorite holiday. I know it doesn't get talked about very much, but I love Thanksgiving. However, I've been doing fall crafting, and when I craft for fall, I mix my fall and my Halloween in together. I really kind of enjoy a Gothic look, and I enjoy doing a lot of rustic fall decor. So come craft with me. I am going to use 4 of the home decor signs from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take all of the greenery off, take the little twine string holders off, lay all that to the side. I did, of course, save the greenery because I might need it for another project. And once I had all of these cleaned and the embellishments really just come right off, I have noticed that Dollar Tree is holding their signs, putting them in a different location so you can purchase them from season to season. I measured, and I'm using that term loosely, the end of the sign, and by measuring I mean I laid the end of the sign against the sign that I was going to use as the longer end of my box, and I wanted the sides to make sure that they bumped up against each other very uniformly. Dollar Tree signs are not all created equal, and so I wanted each end to match up to the end that I was going to be working on. I marked them with a Sharpie, and then I went in with my craft knife. I am working on a cutting mat, and I scored those several times until I had a nice deep rivet in my sign, and then they easily just broke apart. And when I had them broke most of the way apart, I took my knife and I just finished scoring the outside edge. I put some hot glue along the edge of the 2 longer signs, and because I'm going to make a box and I wanted this to have a bottom on it, I glued my 2 pieces together, and then once I had held it till the glue set and dried, I did run another bead of hot glue down the seam, and into that seam I pushed several of the tumbling tower blocks so that it would be really stable, really sturdy, and it would not be coming apart, because this actually turned out to be a very substantial and heavy piece. I put hot glue along the bottom and attached my side piece. I went ahead and put the second longer piece on, and I did the same thing. I put another bead of hot glue along the seam and pushed some tumbling tower blocks in. Once I had my 2 long pieces put together, then I went ahead and did the exact same thing to the 2 side pieces, so I would have a better judge of where it needed to go, how much glue I needed to apply, and how many tumbling tower blocks I needed to put on. The last thing in the world that I wanted was to pick this piece up and have it break apart. I put several tumbling tower blocks on the inside for just extra stability. I took my hot glue gun and started making streaks on what was going to be the front. Just long pieces, thicker pieces, thinner pieces, just long strings of hot glue. I just went to town putting hot glue in little pieces and stripes all up and down the front of my box. I did leave some space in the center in case I decided to put some writing on the front, but up at the top, down at the bottom, along the seams, along the sides, I just put some hot glue here and there and everywhere. I used some Waverly chalk paint in the color ink to paint my entire piece. I went over the hot glue that I had applied, and I just a brush. You could use a sponge brush if that's easier for you, if that's what you have on hand, to entirely cover the entire piece with the chalk paint. I did choose the chalk paint because I wanted a very good dark coverage. I did not want to put multiple coats on this, and I am covering up hot glue drips. I painted all 4 sides, and then I went probably 2 inches from the top on the inside of this box and went ahead and covered up some of the lettering and the white color on the inside just in case it would show. Better to be safe than sorry. I picked up 3 dowel rods at Walmart. They were ranging in prices from 37 cents to 78 cents. And I did not pick out very heavy ones, but I did want a noticeable difference. I took my miter box and I cut them in about the same length for each rod. However, I did not want them to be uniform. I did want them to look different. So how much you take off is entirely up to you, and where you would put this, whether it be on the floor or a table, then you're going to be the best judge. I knew that I was going to put mine on the floor, so I wanted a little bit of height. I probably cut maybe 3 to 5 inches off of the end of each dowel rod. I'm going to paint each one of mine in coffee, medium gray, and linen with the Folk Art matte paint. I took my brushes after I was finished painting the dowel rods with whatever paint that I had left on the brush, and lightly went over the front, the sides, the hot glue, lightly brushed the box with whatever paint I had left on those brushes. I had picked these, I'm not even sure what they are. They're decorative fans. They were in the floral department. I bought them at Hobby Lobby. They were a bargain price of $1.49, and they were such a good price that I just could not leave them in the store. And I thought, I'm going to use them for something. I can craft with them at that price. They're kind of wired, and I took my wire cutters and started clipping the little pieces off of the fans, and then I started hot gluing them onto each one of the dowel rods. If what you have on hand is raffia or different textured things, that is fun. And even a luau skirt, those are fun to use. Just glue them onto your dowel rod. I always encourage everyone to use what you have, and don't go buy anything if you have something in your craft stash that you can use, or think outside the box. And if you see something interesting like these decorative fans from the Hobby Lobby, then use them. Crafting should be inspirational. It should be fun, a stress reliever, and going out and spending a lot of money on something, if you do not need to create something beautiful, it's just not necessary. Use your imagination. It will flow and ebb from every pore in your body, and then you're just going to have a lot more fun. If you try to completely recreate another creator's project and you don't have everything on hand, doesn't matter. You can still make something really interesting. I'm only providing you with inspiration, showing you what I did, but you do not have to recreate it, because not everybody's taste is the same, and not everybody's supply is the same either. And I always encourage everybody just to stay within a budget and craft with what you have. I put several of these little wired pieces. They're like paper. They're little pieces of paper on wire. It's the most bizarre thing. Honestly, I think that I seen something similar to this around 1989. And they just revisited it. But obviously, they didn't revisit it very successfully because it was on clearance at 90% off. I put my colors together. I put some of them going in an upward manner. I put some of them going into the downward fashion, and then I put twine on some, wrapped it really securely, hot glued it, and then I am using nautical rope on some. I wanted my witch's brooms, that's what I'm making, to look different, full of character, just rustic, and most importantly, fun, because most importantly, Halloween should be about fun. I know it has its spooky, scary element, but it's a kid's holiday. The kids love it. I'm a big kid at heart, and I love it too. And I really just like to have fun. So my little witch's brooms are all done. I took a paint marker, and I hate my handwriting, but I decided to go with just my handwriting, how unfortunate it is, and put broom parking only on the front with the paint marker. I purchased 3 pieces of craft foam at the Dollar Tree. No, I didn't take the plastic off. I just glued the pieces of foam with the plastic on to the bottom of my box. Sometimes the foam will do a little bit of a melting thing, and I wanted this to be really sturdy. I used my scissors to wallow out a little bit of a hole and put some hot glue on the end of my dowel rods and stuck my dowel rods into the center of each piece of foam. I took a pool noodle and I cut it so that it would be sectioned off and it would provide some extra stability. It would also take up space and I wouldn't have to use as much product on the interior part of this box. So I used some pool noodles. I cut them to size, put them in each section, and then I had purchased some river rock from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use 3 bags of black, and then I had a little sack of just multicolored rock, some browns that I thought that I would put on the top once I got my Spanish moss kind of laid into the top. I'm going to cover my pool noodle, put a little bit of hot glue where I needed it, not enough to, burn my pool noodle. But I used some reindeer moss and some Spanish moss to cover up the pool noodle. I love using moss. It's rustic. It covers up a multitude of sins. And at Halloween, it is one thing that kind of brings the wow factor to your styling and decorating. I put the multicolored rocks on top. I wanted this to look like it was outdoors during spooky season and a great place for a little witch to park a broom. Then I styled this with Dollar Tree pumpkins. Some are on a pick and some are just different sizes. They're the velvet pumpkins that added a little bit of texture to it. I have this in the corner of my dining room. For such a simple project, it really makes a statement. As a child, I was not able to celebrate Halloween. My father was a pastor. There were parishioners who were bitterly opposed to Halloween, and he did not want to offend them. So as a child, knowing that I was missing out on Halloween, he would always compromise and buy me a costume, and I could stand at the door and pass out candy. When I had a child, Halloween was always so much fun. We went trick-or-treating and enjoyed all of the things. So Halloween to me is a little bit different than a lot of people. And I am not faulting my father or those parishioners at all. The Bible clearly states that you must not do anything, even the perception of evil to lead someone else to fall is a sin. And so I feel like he was trying to please his child and be a good parent and be a good pastor too. I understand that a lot of you do not decorate for Halloween and celebrate it, but I love it. I've been to all the stores. I've seen the animatronics and all of the new goodies and the inflatables. It just thrills my soul. So don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell so that you know when I've uploaded my next video. Give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching Crafts, Laughs, and Chaos.